Do you recognise this place? This is where Duckface was jilted at the altar by Charles, the character played by Hugh Grant in the hit film 4 Weddings and a Funeral. But you know, this is not just a film set. This is a real church, living and loved. So welcome to St Bartholomew the Great in Smithfield in the City of London. Today, Smithfield is a trendy part of the city with its cafes and restaurants, but back in medieval times it had a reputation as a rough and dangerous part of London. There were terrifying spectacles when heretics, rebels and criminals were burnt and beheaded. There was a famous livestock market as far back as the 1100s. Eventually, it became so big that in 1868, this grand Victorian building, which dominates Smithfield, was designed by the city architect Horace Jones to house the world-famous meat market that we know today. But it wasn't all crime and commerce. In the Middle Ages, monastic communities flourished in this area. There was a Carthusian priory known as the Charterhouse. It later became a school for a while, as well as an almshouse. But tucked away behind a Tudor gateway is the oldest religious building in this part of London, the Priory Church of St Bartholomew the Great, which is where we've come for tonight's Songs of Praise.
St Bartholomew the Great is here because of Prior Rahir, our founder, who was a courtier of King Henry I. Rahir went on pilgrimage to Rome and he fell ill there. And he made a vow that if he recovered, he would build a hospital for poor folk in the City of London. Well, he did recover, he started his journey back, and on his way he had a vision of the Apostle Bartholomew. And Bartholomew gave instruction that a church was to be built in a place called Smithfield. And in 1123, they started building this church. When it started, it was a house of Augustinian canons, and they ministered here, but they also ran the hospital. Barts has become a world-famous hospital, but it began from Prior Rahia's foundation. We know that Londoners just marvelled when they saw it. It was the largest church that they'd ever seen, other than the Cathedral of St Paul's.
How long did it take to build?
It took about 20 years to build the church about as far as the crossing arch. This part of the building, the eastern part, is quite clearly, from its rounded arches, a Norman building. They then changed to Gothic architecture to carry on down the nave. The nave was demolished in 1539, and the raised green churchyard is outside where the nave was.
So after the dissolution of the monasteries, what happened to this building?
The parishioners claimed it as their own, but various bits of it were cut off. So the arch leading to the north transept was bricked up completely, and on the other side there was a blacksmith's forge. And the noise of the blacksmith's forge came into the building, and smoke came into the building. Up in the Triforium gallery there was a school. And then in Victorian times, the church was restored.
So who comes here to worship today?
We get tourists, we get people who come to pray. We have a big Sunday congregation, despite having such a small parish. I think it's a holy place, because it's been prayed in continuously for nearly 900 years. There's a sense that somehow the boundary between earth and heaven is thinner here. The words that Bartholomew uses to Rahia are the same words that Jacob uses when he has a vision of God. This is the gate of heaven. This is an awesome place. And it continues to have that sense for many people, including for me.
Benedictus, qui venit, in nomine Benedictus. The William Harvey Research Institute is an internationally renowned institute which does research into all sorts of diseases. We are part of Barts in the London School of Medicine and Dentistry, and I'm part of a team of about 20 scientists who are doing research into rheumatoid arthritis. Only 2 out of every 100 people will escape some form of arthritis during their lifetime. We do research into drugs which have fewer side effects and can be used more safely. We produce this blot where we got the 33 kilodalton.
Do you ever find that you're at odds really in what you know as a scientist and what you feel as a Christian?
I've been a Christian for many, many years and was a scientist actually before I became a Christian. I find that science and Christianity actually are complementary. They answer slightly different questions in slightly different ways, but provide a bigger picture, an overall answer, not just to how things work, but why they work. The rate at which technology is advancing is incredible at the moment, and to a certain extent, ethics seems to lag behind. I'm very much involved in teaching medical ethics to our medical students. That we have to decide, when does human life begin? When is it someone attains moral status? And there are various points. They see so many dilemmas to do with embryo research, stem cell research, abortion.
With babies now, or fetuses now being born at 22 weeks and surviving, obviously with
There's one thing that overarches Jesus' ministry and his teaching, and that is his love and compassion for others. And I think that we need to see in all these ethical issues that love come through, and that's what we try to convey to the students. We're not looking at the patient as a hospital number, but a person, a whole person.
Stop me pushing this arm.
Of course, your students know that you are a Christian because you're the chaplain here. Does that help? Does that make for extra dialogue?
I think being chaplain opens up a whole new dimension of challenges, and the students understand where I'm coming from. They're curious to know how I can be in science and have faith.
The methods and results.
I feel that I'm able to contribute something to scientific debate, to theological debate, to ethical debate, which I'm privileged to say very few people are able to do, and I count it a great honour to be able to do that on behalf of God.
It's very interesting that St Bartholomew the Great was used as a location in 4 weddings and a funeral, because a lot of weddings have actually happened here.
Virginia Rounding writes historical biographies. She worships at St Bartholomew's Church and recently compiled a book about the weddings that have taken place there.
All kinds of people have married here over the years. There have been many medical weddings, for instance, people from the neighbouring hospital. In the 60s and 70s, this tended to be the male doctor marrying the nurse. We've also had a variety of military weddings, sometimes people who are associated with one of the regiments commemorated in the church, for instance. We've had a number of aristocratic weddings. During the war, there were several weddings, including the late Duke of Devonshire and his wife. The Blitz was happening at that time, but the wedding carried on. St Bartholomew's survived, partly through one of the long-serving rectors, Dr. Wallbank, who was doing fire duty on the roof and kicked an incendiary off. He also was married himself in the church during the war years.
Why do you think this church lends itself to weddings in the way it plainly does?
Guests are delighted to walk through quite a small entrance and a hidden door into this gem. Something about the building seems to reach out and embrace the people who enter it, particularly maybe a nervous bride. And I think it adds something to that special day.
Jesus, my love, my joy, my rest, thy perfect love close in my breast. That I may love and never rest, and make me love thee of all things best, and wound my heart in thy
Just down the road from St Bartholomew's Church is the Central Criminal Court, more affectionately known as the Old Bailey, probably the most famous criminal court in the world.
I'm a criminal lawyer, and my work often takes me to the Bailey. We have a lot of murder cases there, unlawful killings, and some really serious cases. I am the principal solicitor of a practice I started in 1995.
Got a speeding trial on the 29th of September.
Okay.
This practice is the only Christian practice in the country that practices criminal law. Nearly all the staff within the firm are Christians, and they believe that their faith will make a difference to the clients who come here.
Well, at the moment you're on duty actually at Guildford Magistrates.
Okay, well, what we'll need we are first and foremost thinking about doing an excellent job, providing an excellent service for our client. And is he appearing before the court at the same time as you?
Yeah, he is.
But because we're practicing Christians and we feel impelled to share the love of Christ, when our clients show an interest in our faith or in the purpose of life, we'll do so.
How long would I probably get in prison if that was the worst thing that happened?
Many of our clients come knowing that they are in trouble, knowing that they may face a prison sentence, perhaps a life sentence. And in such cases, they are at their rock bottom. They've come to the end of their life. So if we could pray for Damien, that justice is done on Monday. And so we do have the privilege of sharing about hope and that the meaning of life is something which can change theirs. Heavenly Father, I do...
Sometimes you quite literally take your work home with you, don't you?
I've been accused of taking work home with me. That's true. And I live in a community where some of my clients live also. Clients who have expressed a deep desire to stop committing crime, to leave drugs, leave alcohol, leave lifestyles which they have been in, and come to a safe environment, which is what I offer at home for them to rebuild their lives, really.
Has that ever put you at risk yourself?
Yes, it has, from time to time. I mean, I've been assaulted and threatened, and things have been stolen from me, and yes, it's sometimes it's been difficult. And although it seems very melodramatic, I believe God has taught me how to continue to love someone even when you've been stabbed in the back by them, if I may put it like that. And the fact is that God is a God of second chances and third chances and fourth chances. And he is a God of mercy, and mercy always triumphs over judgment.
This corner of London has seen so much change over the years. Where once it was surrounded by an impoverished community, now there are international businesses and luxury apartments. But standing proud right in the midst of it all is the church that St. Bartholomew envisaged, a Christian heart that has been beating steadily for 900 years.